Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what is going on? Welcome back to the 1-0 show. And it's been a while, but we've got a very tasty show coming up for you. We've got to talk about Newcastle United's transfers, Jesse Lingard, Diego Carlos. Is Luis Suarez going to Aston Villa? Gerrard's trying to get the whole gang back together. We've got a new loan rule that's about to be implemented apparently by the FA, which could cause Chelsea a lot of harm. We know they love sending players out on loan. I'm also going to be reacting to the team of the year that just came out in FIFA 22. So it's FIFA 22, but we're going to talk about the team of the year, see who made it, see who should have made it, and then we're going to preview some of the biggest games coming up in the Premier League this weekend and why the postponements of the Premier League fixtures should stop. I don't like the postponements. Let the kids play, I say. So, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to like and subscribe. I'm going to catch you on the other side of the intro. Catch you then. That is right, ladies and gentlemen. I know it's been a little while. We had Adamo on the channel last week. If you missed that interview, make sure to go check it out. We had Adamo on, spoke a lot about football, spoke a little bit about him as well. But now it's just myself, and it's been a while, but the 1-0 show is back. So, what's going on? What's going on in the news? What's going on in football? There's a lot going on. We've got the AFCON going on. Algeria, they're one of the favourites, but they're really not showing that much. Nigeria's going strong. Mo Salah's scoring goals here and there. But overall, the AFCON has brought us some funny moments, but at the same time, some cracking games. Who's going to win the AFCON? Let me know in the comments down below. But we're going to go to the Premier League because there's a new FA rule that we saw that came out last night or yesterday, depending on where you are. And what it's really going to do, it's to cap players and the big Premier League clubs, or big clubs in general, from loaning out a lot and stockpiling a lot of teams elsewhere with players on loan. We know Chelsea are one of the biggest culprits of this. We know Chelsea loves sending players out on loan. We know Vitesse is almost like Chelsea's B team. You know, so many players have gone from Chelsea to there on loan. What this is, it's to cap the number of players a club can send out. Okay, stop stockpiling players, and a lot of the biggest English clubs and the European clubs have done such. So, what does this mean for clubs? It means that if you've got a player that's been on your list for like 8-9 years, but they've played 2 games at your club, it sort of stops things like that, which I think it's the best thing to do. You can loan players out because you're looking at some other players who have been loaned out. The best thing, we look at Jesse Lingard, who we'll talk about later on. He got loaned out, wasn't playing at Man United, did well at West Ham. Unfortunately, hasn't gone the same for him coming back to United. But loans are a great thing, and especially for younger kids. But I think we need to stop just loaning players out the whole time. Sell them when at a certain point. If you think like you can probably be able to tell when a player is able to really in the next 3-4 years coming to the team. Now Chelsea's the most obvious one. We know Chelsea love a little loan. Billy Gilmore, they've sent him out on loan. Conor Gallagher, they've got players on loan. So Tammy Abraham was on loan a few years ago before going to Chelsea. Mason Mount was on loan. So many of these players. But when you play them, and you can see with Reece James, players like that, when you play them, you can ultimately get some rewards out. Because what's happening, these players are going out on loan. They're ultimately keeping these players happy because they're playing and then selling them for a little bit more in the future, which a lot of other clubs, the bigger clubs, are doing. However, the smaller clubs, they can't really do that to a great extent. So it's building a bit of a divide. Let me know what you think about that. I think it's fair enough. It's got to come into play like 2024. Sorry, that was difficult. But it's a new little rule that's trying to come up. It just came into the news recently. Let me know what you think down below. And we are in the transfer window. We've got Jesse Lingard, who apparently is looking very likely to sign a 6-month loan with Newcastle. I think it'd be a great signing for Newcastle. They've just signed Chris Wood for 25 mil, which I actually don't mind. I actually do not mind it. I know it's not really the Newcastle flashy signing that people thought they would be getting, and is he worth 25 mil? No. But it's a signing that they've just gone and pinched probably their relegation rivals' best player in Chris Wood, who we know can score goals, even though he hasn't scored that many this season. We know if you put him in a decent team with a couple of decent performances, okay, he was playing for Burnley. He's not going to score 20 goals this season at Burnley. So I think with Kieran Trippier, I think that sort of shows, with the signing of Wood and Trippier, sort of shows how Eddie Howe wants his team to survive. I think it's a decent sign. Like in the long term, we look back and go, what were you doing? But I think purely just to survive, I think it's very, very important for Newcastle. I think Jesse Lingard will be a great signing, but I think the signing that will be even better is the Sevilla centre-back, the Brazilian man, Diego Carlos. For 30 mil, they're rumoured to try and sign him. Apparently, Carlos has alluded to the fact that he'd like to go to Newcastle. I don't think Sevilla are too keen because he is a great centre-back. He's still young, still yet to really hit his prime. He's a big guy. strong on the ball, very mature as well for a younger centre back. I think he'd be fantastic, and we know how much of a shambles the Newcastle United defence is. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. I think if they can secure Diego Carlos, I think they might be able to stay up. However, I still don't really see them staying up. Honestly, I still actually don't really see them staying up because the defense for me is the biggest issue, and they really haven't strengthened it. I mentioned it last week with Adamo. Tarkovsky was that signing that people thought was going to happen straight away. Still hasn't happened. Burnley were going to let him. I'd be very surprised if Burnley let Chris Wood and Tarkovsky go. Burnley are looking to replace Chris Wood with Andy Carroll. So I think it's a pretty good indication of what's going on at Burnley, and it's not good. Talking about transfer rumors, however, we obviously saw Felipe Coutinho, and I've been pretty big on Coutinho. I've been the one saying that Coutinho isn't really going to have a standout year. He's not going to do that well. Relax. However, to my credit, I did say that he's probably going to do well against Man United, and that he did, of course, because we suck. But that's a different story for another day. However, Gerrard, he brought back Coutinho to Villa. He brought Coutinho back to the Premier League. Steven Gerrard brings back Felipe Coutinho to Aston Villa and the Premier League. And now he wants to bring Luis Suarez. I don't know how true these rumours are. Gerrard wants to bring the band back together. He's using a bit of his player pool as well. Steven Gerrard, Steven Gerrard, come and play for Aston Villa. But I don't think Luis Suarez will go to Villa. I think apparently he's denied Atletico Madrid's new contracts and all that sort of stuff. If he does go, then I just don't even know what's happening anymore. If Luis Suarez goes to Aston Villa, then it gives me all hope that Archie Thompson can sign for 1-0 FC. Who knows what's going on in the world anymore? I don't know. I'm looking now. Dad just won a box of Canadian clubs. And it doesn't make any sense because no one, I don't get it. I don't understand what's going on. I'd love to actually see it happen, though, to be honest. All jokes aside, I'd love to see Suarez go to Villa just because it's an absolute weird thing to happen. But it'd be cool. Why not? Speaking of Luis Suarez and someone who loves to bite, we've got Cristiano Ronaldo. He had a bit of a meltdown. Man United beat Brentford 3-1. We have the Brentford gaffer coming out after the game saying we smashed them in the first. It was 0-0, you donut. What do you mean you smashed us? We were shit. You guys weren't good. We were shit. Relax, okay? Relax. You're just a Jurgen Klopp wannabe, you absolute McMuffin. Ronaldo, however, comes off in the 70th minute when we're 2-0 up for Harry Maguire. I know. And he has a bit of a meltdown. He has a bit of a sook. We know Cristiano Ronaldo, he doesn't want to come off. He's 36 years old, though. Ronnie, I love you. I'm a big fan of Sue, but you're 36 years old. You can't have meltdowns like that, bro. We're 2-0 up. Cool. If we were 2-0 down against Brentford and you got subbed off, then sweet. Argue. Do whatever you want. Throw a tantrum. Throw a banana. Throw an orange. Throw a McMuffin. Do whatever you want. But not now. I think Ronaldo, though, I think he'll stay. People seem to think he's got to go at the end of the year. I think he will stay. But that's going to wrap us up for what's going on. There's a lot of stuff going on in football. Let me know what caught your eye this week. Well, I'll go on to what caught my eye personally, and that's the FIFA 22 Team of the Year. I personally haven't played FIFA in yonks because I think the game sucks. But the FIFA 22 Team of the Year just got released today, the day of recording. And there's some surprises. We had Matty Boy, big family of the channel. We had Matty Boy. I had him over the other day. He said to say hi. So big ups, Matty Boy. And we were going through who we think should go into the Team of the Year. There's quite a few players that we didn't actually have in the Team of the Year. So, to start from the bottom, Donnarumma. I had Donnarumma, and a lot of people were saying Mendy. Donnarumma, what that guy did in the Euros was unbelievable. He's an absolute machine. Still a young guy as well. Got Milan into the Champions League as well, which they haven't had in a while. Donnarumma, very deserved. Hakimi was another player we had. I'll put it on the screen now, the Team of the Year, if you don't know who's in it. Hakimi, I kind of disagree with that. Ruben Diaz is another interesting one, and look, I know it's FIFA 22. Nick run the foot marker if you're unaware. Matty Boy told me that apparently in the fine print, it's the people vote. However, EA's votes will have a bit of a say as well, which means that they sort of just want to do what's best for the game. But Ruben Diaz gets in, and look, you can't really argue. I guess City they won the Premier League again. They had a good, decent-ish run in the Champions League. My apologies, in the Champions League. So they made the final in the Champions League. It was better than a decent-ish run. Made a final in the Champions League. And I think that's sort of where they went mostly with this, because Joao Cancelo's there as well. And Cancelo's had a good year. And I probably can't disagree with that. However, there's something that I maybe can disagree with is Ruben Diaz, because when you look at it, Bonucci had a stellar Euros. Stellar Euros. He did well in the Champions League as well. Maybe I'm not going to argue too much with the defense, but you look in the midfield, you've got Kante, pretty self-explanatory. Not going to say too much there because N'Golo Kante is a machine. The guy is unbelievable. He had his Champions League performances don't get talked about enough. He was man of the match in the semis, man of the match in the quarters, man of the match in the final. These are three world class performances against elite teams. So there's a lot that needs to get praised to Kante. Next to him is Jorginho, third best player in the world. I don't know. I don't think you can disagree with Jorginho being in that team as well, though. Now, I know there's maybe like the Ballon d'Or was a bit of a shout, like, okay, relax. But I don't think you can really disagree with Jorginho being in there. He won the Euro, won the Champions League, is a very important midfielder in both of those teams. I don't actually see an issue with him being there. If he won the Ballon d'Or, I have an issue. But in the team of the year, I don't really have an issue. Next to him is Kevin De Bruyne. And Kevin De Bruyne, a midfielder who once again makes the team of the year. Now, I want to throw a little shout out, and Matty Boy said it as well. Nicola Barella. He had an incredible season for Inter Milan. Inter Milan obviously won the league as well. Won the Euros with Italy, Barella. Why is Barella worth a shout? Let me know in the comments down below. Again, credit to Matty Boy. Barella, is he a shout for the team of the year? Should he have made the FIFA 22 team of the year? Again, won the Euros, and it was instrumental in some of those games. Was incredible for Inter Milan, who won the league. They won the Serie A. I think Barella, is worth a shout to me. He's worth a sort of, maybe there's a bit of Premier League bias in this. Maybe Kevin De Bruyne, we just expect he's just always got to be good. And that's why he's always a bit of a shoo-in for the team of the year in the last sort of 4 or 5 years. But I think Barella could be with a decent shout. We've got to go to the front three. Lewandowski, no questions about that. Probably one of the best players in the world right now alongside Benzema, who... maybe is he a bit of a snub as well? Is Karim Benzema a bit of a snub in the front three? Because we've got Mbappe and Messi. I think Messi probably deserves it. I know he hasn't started well, but we're looking at last season and the team of the year. Obviously, he won the Copa America, which I think was big for him. And he put in some pretty top shifts. I don't think Ronaldo should have made the team. I don't think he really did enough. Kylian Mbappe, however. Bring it in. Kylian Mbappe. Something about him it just makes me think I don't really know why. Were there better? I think there was probably better players than Mbappe in the attack. I think Benzema was probably better than Mbappe. And maybe it's a bit of recency bias. I'm not too sure. Maybe I'm being a little bit unfair on Mbappe. Maybe because he's so young and so good, people just expect a lot more from him. But I don't know. I think there's... Mo Salah probably deserves to be in there. I mean, like, honestly, if I'm doing it now, I'm putting Mo Salah instead of Kylian. I'm not doing it now. If I'm choosing this team, I'm putting Mo Salah instead of Kylian Mbappe. I think even though Liverpool didn't have a great season by their standards last year, I think Salah was still unbelievable. I think he had a better season than Mbappe as well. So I'm not too sure. So ladies and gentlemen, let me know in the comments down below, who do you think should have made it? Do you think the whole 11 is perfect? Who would you have taken out? Who would you have put in? And I want to hear your Barella shout. I don't mind the Barella shout. I want to hear, because I think it maybe probably deserved to make it. A little bit outsider, but I don't mind it. Now we're going to jump into the Premier League preview. Now, hopefully these games aren't going to get postponed because it's going to make things very awkward. But please, stop postponing games. Just please, okay? Let the kids play. Gary Neville, I know, not just because I'm a United fan, I actually don't agree with a lot of the stuff he says, but I do agree with the fact that we need to play. Okay, just let the games go on. I'll be totally honest. I'm losing interest by the weekend with all these games getting postponed. I don't really know who's playing when, who's playing who, all that sort of stuff. I saw a stat the other day, a tweet the other day. The Bayern Munich in the Bundesliga last weekend filled a whole bench out with a combined 0 minutes of Bundesliga appearances. So they just put kids on the bench and they kept the game going. Why don't the Premier League do that? Now, I think it's probably, once again, all sort of money, because if, Sky Sports over there has got a Man United versus Liverpool game, which is obviously a big game. You've got Salah versus Ronaldo, you've got Mane, you've got Rashford, you've got Varane, you've got Van Dijk, you've got the big names. You obviously want the big names to play because it's box office TV. But at the same time, If we need games to keep going on. Burnley's got about 30 games in hand. We've got to finish the season off. Burnley, two teams would have been relegated, and Burnley have still got 20 games in hand. We don't know when they're going to get relegated. So please just play the games. Please. Please. Let me know if you agree. Play the games. I want the games to still be going on. Stop postponing. Unless it's obviously a huge, huge issue where they cannot fill anybody out, then fine. But play the kids. You've got all these kids in the youth team. Play them. Put them on the bench. I know maybe in the long term it's not going to be the most exciting thing. In the short term, all that sort of stuff, maybe the quality might have to suffer a little bit, but I'd much rather have games every single weekend than having 2 games a week and not knowing when you're playing next, and then having a massive cluster of fixtures. In saying that, though, we've got Man United versus West Ham on a Sunday. But before we get to that, Everton versus Aston Villa is first. Everton obviously got Duncan Ferguson coming in as the interim manager once again. They're in a bit of a mess, Everton. Who's going to be the next Everton manager? I'm not too sure. Is it going to be Frank Lampard? Wayne Rooney's name has been thrown around, and he's actually done pretty well with Derby, considering all the situations that they've had to face this year. He's actually done a pretty decent job. I think Rooney could be in with a shout. Roberto Martinez's name has been thrown out. Jose Mourinho's name has been thrown. I don't think he should go. I think he should stay at Roma. Stay away from Everton, Jose Mourinho, please. Okay, just do it. Aston Villa, on the other hand, have smashed it. Steven Gerrard's brought in Coutinho. Suarez may be on his way. I don't think so, but maybe on his way. Steven Gerrard's building a team. He's building a team and he's getting them to play well and confident football. They came back from 2-0 down to make it 2-2 against Man United, unfortunately. Hopefully Coutinho starts in this match. I see Villa going on a bit of a honeymoon period. Again, like the energy and the vibes just seem to be so high at Aston Villa. So I think they've got to beat Everton. Obviously, interim manager, so Everton could have a bit of this honeymoon period as well. I think a 2-1 win for Villa should get the job done. Then we've got a Man United versus West Ham. It's going to be an interesting game once again because Man United really haven't played well. I don't want to talk about Man United all the time once again, but I don't know what's going on. I really don't know what's going on. Ralph Rangnick said that he wanted to change to a 3-back when we were 2-0 up, which was pretty much a 5-back against Aston Villa. He didn't do it. We considered 2 goals. He's saying that that's the reason why he didn't. He took Ronaldo off and he put Harry Maguire on. We went to that and we conceded, but no worries. West Ham, another team, up and down a little bit the last couple of weeks. I think a striker is it's a pretty big issue for West Ham right now. I think we were all sort of expecting Antonio's form to sort of dip a little bit. Jared Bowen is probably one of the most informed players in the Premier League right now. Putting his hand up for an England cap as well, 100%. He probably deserves to be there over my boy Rashford and over quite a few of the other wingers. Jared Bowen, I think right now, could probably be on form one of the best players in the league. Let me know what you think. I think Man United will get the win. I don't think it's going to be pretty. I think it's going to be quite ugly. I see it as a 1-0 or a 1-1 draw even. I don't think it's going to be a cracking game. I think United, we're in a bit of struggle town, but that's okay. Talking about struggle town, Chelsea. They really haven't been playing that well. Title race, they're probably fully gone out of it. Romelu Lukaku, he's looking awful. 100 mil for him, bruv. What's he doing? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Tottenham, on the other hand, Antonio Conte is doing well, and we were talking about it. I spoke about it with Adamo last week on the 1-0 show. They're going to get results with Conte. It's not going to be pretty, but they're going to get results. And look what just happened the other day. Bergwijn scores 2 goals in like a minute and a half, and they win 3-2. Unbelievable. Now, they can't do that every week, I know. But Chelsea versus Tottenham will get the win. You heard it here first. I think Antonio Conte goes to Stamford Bridge, his former club. He's done a lot for them at Chelsea. They left on a bit of a sour note. I think he takes Tottenham, plays a little bit defensive, smart tactical football, similar to how they played against Liverpool. Okay, their counter-attack is going to be ace. And I think Tottenham walk away from Stamford Bridge with 3 points. And further makes that Chelsea scenario a little bit interesting with what's going on. I'm not too sure. Are the fans turning on Tuchel? I think that's the one thing they're actually not doing. But I think a lot of people may be starting to turn on their players, which is a little bit unfair for what they've done. But I'm not too sure. I think Tottenham will get the win. I think Antonio Conte pulls 3 points out of the bag. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you very much for watching. I'm Costa. This has been 1-0. If you're new, please make sure to like and subscribe. It's all much appreciated. It actually does help the channel grow. Make sure to go follow the Instagram _1-0. I'm going to see you guys very soon next week. I'm going to also release an A-League video as well. If you're here in Australia, you want to watch the A-League. I'll see you guys next week for another show. Deuces.